You know, I was all set up. I've said this a million times. I usually don't like to come into a series um with less than 10 books. But there's been a couple of series recently that have caught my eye that have had less than 10 books. And it took a while to get the first book. I had to wait a while. I had book 2 and 3, but did not have 1, and I wanted to start the series at book 1. And there's actually a new one of this that comes out this month too. So that probably that would mean there was a 5-book series, but I will not be pursuing this at this junction. I have no, I just will not be reading this second and third books. Not right now. I just don't have the patience for them right now. Alright, let me get to it. This is the D. Louise book series, and I'm Christina Kristina. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy smanchy stuff going on here. And I wrote these notes. Alright. Well, first of all, this is my list of characters. And this is not even half of them. I got I was trying to follow the story. I was trying to advance it a little faster. And we still thrown another 10, 15 characters after I finish this list. And this list ends in about chapter 40, 45, something like that. And that has over 30 characters on it. And we're still getting past new characters. There was still new characters coming in future chapters. If I'm going to read this book, if I'm going to read a book like this, it's going to be Outlander. It's going to be my Beatrice Small Sky O'Malley series. It's going to be historical. Most of the time, for me, in my experience, books like this are historical. This is not historical. This is contemporary romance with a murder mystery involved. And we are forever meeting new characters. All right. So here, this is what I wrote. Okay. This book feels like a very quick walk down a very long hallway. While trying to avoid the dodgeball years ago, there was a game that was played in gym. Do you remember dodgeball? And that ball really effing hurt. And you were supposed to hit below the waist, but it didn't always happen like that. And I'm pretty sure that game is no longer played. It was probably outlawed. Too many injuries. But we keep getting hit with characters. You're walking down this hall, and there's another new character, another new character, another new character, another new character, another new character. And it's not like, it doesn't have that Regency feel. When you have a Regency and the two head characters go for the stroll in the park, or they go for the carriage ride during the specific hours, and they meet Mrs. So-and-so and have a little talk with her, and then they meet Mrs. So-and-so and have a talk with her. There's a line or two of introduction. These characters just show up. They're just in your face. And that's what reminded me of Dodgeball, because they kept coming at me and they kept showing up. And I was getting a headache, and I was just, um, just, come here, Smoke. What's up, Smoke? She's been avoiding me all day. Um, it's just, we just getting hit with more characters and more characters and more characters and more characters. And I was like, Jesus Christ. So, first of all, she has a ton of people in her apartment building. All right, that you have to keep track of, because these people are in the mystery, in the core section here. Then you have her family, which is screwed up as it is. They may all have a little psychic gifts, but stuff doesn't work out. Riley's sister's name is Wander. And apparently, you won't find out until like over chapter 40 plus something that Wanda was a result of a fling with this guy. I think it was Winston. And all of a sudden, he shows up out of the blue. And you get all these characters coming out of the blue, and then you get this detective that shows up, and then you get this drug uh, mobster guy that shows up, and it's just, and then Mrs. Penny, this elderly lady, turns into a vigilante, and she's freeing puppies. And I'm just, good grief. I just, alright, let me see. What else do my notes say here? Let's just get back to the, alright. So, but anyway, the amount of characters thrown at you in the beginning was overwhelming, starting with the amount of residents in the building where she lives. Then the amount of relatives. Then you had to deal with the amount of coworkers. Then you had to deal with the amount of police officers. Then you had to deal with the mobsters. Then you had to deal with the people in the bar, in Nature's Girl bar. You get a whole new cast of characters in there. You're getting these huge groups of characters thrown at you. And it's hard to keep up with. It's hard to keep everybody straight. And it was like book chapter 40 something. I actually had to refer to my notes, to my spreadsheet to figure out who people were. Because I didn't remember who these people were because there were so many people. And for the record, this book is over 400 pages, which is why I say this is not Beatrice Small. This is not Diana Gabaldon and Beatrice Small, Sky O'Malley, Diana Gabaldon, and Claire Beecham Randall Fraser. This is not that kind of book. This is a modern, contemporary romance with a murder mystery thrown in that goes on forever. And you're getting more people thrown in, and more people thrown in, and more people, and more situations, and it's just like, good grief. This took me almost 10 hours to read, and I was exhausted by the end of it. And it's so overwhelming. There's just so much. And why you're told in the beginning, I got a little too invested in the early story, that Riley is paying alimony to her husband when she caught him cheating on her, and he had a sophisticated lawyer and she had a rotten lawyer, so now she's paying alimony to him. Then she turns out to be a little bit of a psychic, and she goes into this, not a Starbucks, but a similar situation, and tells the clerk there that her grandmother, Ida somebody, wants her to get a lymph node checks, and she goes and have a lymph node checks, and it turns out she has early stages of cancer or something like that, and the girl is ever so thankful to whoever that stranger was that told her this information. And then we have to deal with Riley at work. She spends a couple days like not consecutively, not consecutive chapters, but like there's several chapters throughout the book where she's just at work. And it's irritating as all hell to Riley and to us, the character. It's just, So like I said, you're still getting new characters introduced way after chapter 40. Way after chapter 40. And the whodunit is chapter 50 plus, somewhere out there. And the book starts with a prologue. And the prologue, he sets it up for you that they're being chased. And then you have to wait well over 40 chapters to get back to that chase. Well over 40 chapters to get back to it. To catch up to present time. Then you have, she's trying to do the investigation, and she's with Nick, and then she's trying to do her job, which is horribly boring. And then all of a sudden, after the thing in the coffee shop, the grandmother that you don't really meet face to face in the book, but all of a sudden, this grandmother you didn't even know existed sends Riley a psychic guru to be her mentor, to teach her how to do stuff psychically. So then this Gabe guy shows up. The blue just walks into the scene, is automatically accepted. Hey, your grandmother sent me. We're gonna help you do this, blah blah blah. And all of a sudden, there's somebody else, and it's just, I got tired. I got tired of keeping track of all this stuff. I am not. I was ready. I was ready. I'm not. I'm giving it up. Me and Ursula Blanchard are gonna get back together. And I've still got some Catherine Coulters to do. I gave this a shot and I'm done. No way, 6 ways to Sunday. So, alright. My Cliff Notes. Chapter 1. Right, it's prologue, chapter 1. Riley is in car with other passengers of unknown names, and they are fired upon. Then the following chapter is chapter 2, and it's 2 weeks prior. Bud and Donna and Fred Bodanovich is the brother, and Lily is the sister. And these are people that Nick works. These are the people in the house where Riley lives. That's right, I forgot. It's owned by Fred and Lily Bodanovich, and there's a whole bunch of people in this house, and you don't even meet them right away. And Riley works for a marketing company. Then Riley goes to work, gets written up for being 5 minutes late. The front desk clerk is really one of those bitchs and writes her up for being 4 minutes late. And then she sees her ex-husband, and he's a reporter, and he's dating the weather girl. And then this Nick guy comes looking for the guy across the hall, says he owes him money, when in fact he's just trying to serve him papers. He's a server. He's a private investigator. Then Nick goes to his office and sees 2 of his coworkers necking. Then she goes to dinner with her mom, and we meet her dad Roger, and her mom Blossom, and Wanda, and her sister's ex-husband Raphael, and their 3 kids. You get all these people. Then she finds out that Nikki is watching her apartment, and she's had a vision that her neighbor is gonna get shot. And she tries to tell the police, she tries to tell Dickie, everybody's ignored, the guy gets shot. Now she's a suspect in the murder. Then Riley watches her ex-husband propose to somebody else on air. It's all romantic, it's for TV, blah, blah, blah. She's still paying him alimony. Then the murder happens, Nick shows up, they both run down the stairs, they bump into each other. The police know that she tried to report the murder a couple days prior. They want to know what she's involved in. She ends up in the hospital for a few hours getting some repairs done. Then she meets Detective Weber, and then she meets Jasmine Patel, her best friend, who just shows up. She just shows up. There's no really core. I don't feel the core relationship there. I don't feel the buddy. I don't feel the confidence. I don't feel the, I gotta call my girlfriend to tell her how my day went stuff. None of that stuff happens here. Nick brings Riley flowers at work because he wants to check up on her. Then Gabe shows up, takes her to lunch. So then Riley talks to Detective Weber. Then she goes with Nick to dinner. Then she goes with Nick to Nature Girls. Then she has yoga with Jasmine and Gabe and Blossom and Mom, and she has a vision. And then Nick is going to stay over the night, but then it takes like 5 or 6 chapters to get to that point. And then all of a sudden there's another tenant show up, Wilcott, and he was, they may or may not have been running some gambling stuff going on. They spend some time together, they talk, they have dinner with their kids, the mother and the kids and the sister and stuff. And then she goes undercover at Nature Girls, and we get a whole new cast there. It's, adult bar situation that's really disgusting. Then she meets Sergeant Maple Jones, and there's a whole new cops come in. Then we meet Katie. Then we meet a senator. Then we meet the mayor. Then we meet, and then we meet, and then we meet, and then we meet, and then we meet. And I was just exhausted. Absolutely exhausted. So, There's a couple of murders that happen in the book. If you want to find out about it, go ahead, be my guest, have a good. I mean, I just, it's obvious. It's probably a really good book. I just didn't have the. It was just me. You can blame me. It was just me. I just didn't have the patience for it. Just did not have the patience for it. Something this long and this heavy weighted, it's got to be a Beatrice Small or it's got to be a Diana Gabaldon. I was over it. I was so over it. And it just, sorry. That's about it. So her neighbor gets killed and it takes, let's see, 460, let's wait a minute. 460 pages to solve it. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I am not. I'm gonna go back and fight with Ursula a little while. We'll see what happens. Have a good day, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you could please check out Star Trek recaps on Friday, although they may, yeah, they're still out there. Okay, yeah, check those out. Don't forget If Then Friday afternoons. I work really hard on those, and Flashback Mondays. We just did one the other day that is so relevant. One of the books that's reviewed in the August 2013 Romantic Times Book Review is a hot book right now. And I'm like, you see? These books are still relevant today. My magazine is still, there's still reviews in that magazine that are books that are still on the shelves today in bookstores and Amazon and your library. And people are still reading them and still talking about them. So have a good one. Enjoy.